call to order. We'll do the pledge in a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll go with a roll call. Mr. Holland, are you here?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Klim. So we have a full house. Public comment. And if everybody that's sitting up here and wants to have public comment, we'll put the mics, you can even swallow them if you want, so everybody can be heard. It sounds like it's coming in very loud. Any public comments? That takes care of that part. Administrative business. And under administrative business, any of the dissertations of what some consider insignificant, others consider significant, let's try to do that at the end of the meeting. So those that don't want to hear what we're going to dissertate on can get up and leave. So administrative business.
The only thing I really had today was just a reminder to everybody that the County Employees Safety Day is next Friday, October 12th, 11 a.m. at the Riverfront Community Center.
Thank you. Consent agenda. First item is approval of the minutes. Anybody have anything on the minutes?
No, sir.
No, I read the minutes over a couple times.
Wasn't that exciting?
Yeah. I guess we all got the letter from, I don't know, I guess it was from Lansing or Fire District 1.
Yes.
I guess we need to read those over, and I think it was for Fire District 1, but I really would like to hear from Lansing also.
Can we save that till, you want to write that down and we'll talk about that at the end?
Okay.
Appreciate it, Bob. Thank you. The only thing I had was David Warren. There's David, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Was here and gave a dissertation that sort of sounded like we were at fault. So I've got that down that I'd like to discuss that at the end of the meeting. But I have nothing on the minutes. Approval of the schedule for next week. Anybody see anything that they don't think is?
No. I'll make the LCDC meeting and also safety days.
Okay. Nothing?
Nothing?
Put that over there. Approval of the check register. Anybody got anything on that?
No, sir.
I guess I do. We got a individual paper on your attorney for approval. Why isn't it on the check register?
That's a good question.
Deadline or something?
Well, any payments before they go out will be on the check register approval. You may have gotten a individual notice that just didn't come in time to make it to the check register, but it will be on the check register before it's paid.
And I've also, one other thing, Sometimes we get bills from Mr. Ryburn, and never do I get a copy of the statement. And I'm concerned about what he's using his time for. Is he just billing us outright, and he doesn't have to? All the other attorneys, like Mr. Klemp's attorney, it was all set forth, and we knew exactly what we were being billed for. But Mr. Ryburn, I never see anything on that.
Is that something that the administrator can look into? And
I'll review it, and
Yeah.
if that's the case, that you're not receiving it, I'll make sure that he gets you copies of those.
is that all right?
Yep.
Thank you. The only questions I have on the checks is to show that, again, we're spending a lot of money on roads with county money. We haven't asked any of the cities for help, like they seem to want to ask us. But there's $59,000 spent on rock. Let's see if there's any more in here. Sure there is. Oh, for the employees, $80,000 on benefits. No, that was on grants, excuse me. It's always funny how you have to spend money to get grants. Some more on rock, $45,000. Asphalt, $31,000. Mid-America Regional Council, $19,000. That's a quarterly payment, annual payment? And it's not annual.
For the,
Mark?
oh, that would be based upon statements. I mean, it could be, for that particular one, let me find it. What page number was that on?
Be interesting to know what we pay totally.
I
To
think
Mark.
I do think we
Not
looked.
you, the other Mark.
This is a monthly, it's for the 911 cost sharing,
Yeah.
19,000.
Go ahead.
Oh, I would like to reference that we only spent $447,000 this time frame, which is about as low as I've ever seen it.
I agree with that.
But we're still moving ahead with our roads,
Yeah.
and I think that's great.
Well, I got something on roads later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Road seal, $64,000.
Do that in one day.
I know it, but we're doing good. Hams, that was a landfill, that's $69,000.
Yeah, I've seen that. I was wondering if you were going to get to that one.
You thought I didn't give a ham?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Next item is OCBs. We don't have any. I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. How do you vote?
Aye.
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 Very good. Next item is formal board action. Consider a motion to approve 2 porta potties and usage of the south parking lot of the Judicial Center for Vietnam Day Parade on November the 12th.
Do it every year, Mr. Chairman.
Has
Okay.
been for quite a few, well,
Yeah.
all the years I've been here.
Yeah, been a long time. So, I guess we need a motion to approve porta potties.
I'll
and-
make a motion that we approve the porta potties and the usage of the
South
south
lot.
parking lot.
That would be this one right here, right?
No,
it's
Justice
the
Center.
Justice
Oh,
Center.
the Justice Center.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good.
I'll second that.
So it hadn't been for total consistent, or time, because we didn't have that over there in the 70s and that.
Right.
But that's close.
That was the 1996 sales tax.
Were you going to
project.
second that?
I did.
No, you made the motion.
No,
No, I
Mr.
made
Holler
it.
made the motion, I
didn't
made
do
the
anything,
second.
did I? How do you vote?
Aye.
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 Very good, we got that taken care of. Next item. I had written down here a lot of stuff. Is that what I meant, a lot of stuff? Porta potties, yeah. Okay, consider a motion to approve and authorize the chairman to sign FY 2019 carryover reimbursement budget for juvenile community corrections for Leavenworth and Atchison counties.
I'd like to,
Say again? Yeah.
I'd like to hear from him.
Yeah, and I also, it makes it interesting. I see a lot more from the cities where, and I only got 3 months and 6 days, I think it's left, so it doesn't.
6 days?
Yeah, I think it's 6 days. But why doesn't it have that a motion to be voted on by the chairman more often rather than worrying about 3 signatures?
Well, I think that the board could direct the chairman or staff to sign as long as the motion indicates how they want to handle. I think in the past, it's just always been handled that every commissioner signs, so I don't believe there's anything that would require that as long as the board's motion indicated.
Okay, it's something I think we ought to think about. It's not a big deal to me. So, yes, one report coming up.
Morning.
Morning.
Lucas.
All right, I'll try to keep this short for you guys. This is simply a reimbursement kind of wish list, if you will, that KDOC kind of asked us to do. It's not something that they're expecting us to use for these funds. It's just, what do you guys need and what are you expecting to use it for? These are Leavenworth County and Atchison County. As you guys know, we grant funds to them for juvenile community corrections. And Atchison County has been historically kind of one of the lower paid juvenile probation officers, and they're looking to increase that in hopes to, I believe, to get more applicants in. I believe they're down a position there and have been for quite some time. And then Leavenworth County, we are having issues getting youth to programs. As I've said in past meetings here, we're having all these kids coming back to the communities and we're supervising them here. And so to make them successful on probation, we have to get them to these programs, mental health, even things like job interviews and you know, small little things that we don't think about, that transportation is a huge issue. So one of the things we've been mulling around for quite some time is having a bigger vehicle that could help us with that. I'm not sure we have the funds to achieve that purpose, but like I said.
When you're saying a bigger vehicle, what do you mean?
Right now we have a Ford Fusion.
Okay.
And we have approximately 30 kids, close to about 30 kids in the community. Not all of them need them, but need rides per se, but we do run into this position a lot where we're, you know, not having to take kids back to court and revoking them on their probation because of simple things like they just couldn't make it to whatever program that we required them to do on probation.
Go ahead, Bob.
I have a question.
Right.
You said that Atchison County is looking to raise their, one of their employees, their pay. Did they say how much they want to raise their pay?
Yeah, it's in there. The director, $2 per hour, and $2 per hour for the officer. And all this is KDOC funds, guys. This is county funds.
Go ahead.
Will that put them back in the same situation as Leavenworth? Or will that put them still behind Leavenworth?
You mean as in pay rate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll be on our same level, close to it.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
know the exact number.
Douglas?
No questions, read it over.
Okay, I did notice it. Do we have a form that you're wanting us to sign?
It's on the back of it.
The reason I say that is it says Dedeke, Smallvick, and Klimp. And there's no motion in there for the chairman to sign for the board. So that's why I think it'd be a lot easier
I got you.
if, no, don't put all the signatures on there. It'd be easier
Yeah,
if we'd vote, yeah, let the chairman sign it.
yeah. I think isn't that the way it is now?
It is on this,
It is on this one.
but so many other things.
Right, there's so many other things
Yeah.
it's not.
Okay.
I agree.
I only have one official complaint, and it's unofficial because I'm making it. After the signature page,
Yes, sir.
I got a free page, nothing on it. And the very last page is free.
That's for your notes.
That's good, Douglas. That's not a big deal. A lot of printers do that, don't know why they do it, and I don't think they know why they do it. So I'll entertain a motion for me to sign that.
I'll make a motion for you to sign the requested chairman sign the carryover reimbursement for the Kansas Department of Corrections.
Okay,
I'll second that.
been moved and seconded. How you vote, Doug?
Aye.
Bob?
Thanks.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the next item. Consider a motion to award a contract. Oh, very good, thank you. Why don't I sign that, and get that out of the way?
No, that's not the one.
No. Ooh, hey, that's a resolution, yeah. So we'll get that later? So that means I have to spend more time here. Would you get that on the time clock? Okay? That way Bill will be happy. Consider a motion to award contract, seems like it should be a contract, but that's all right. To award a contract for the Justice Center parking lot improvements to McConnell and Associates in the amount of $81,571.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Public Works is seeking approval to award the contract for the Justice Center parking lot improvements to McConnell and Associates. Sealed bids for the Justice Center parking lot improvement project were opened by the county clerk on September 21st. 5 bids were submitted for the project. The base bid was for the construction of a new entrance at the southwest corner of the parking lot, crack sealing, and a slurry coat over the parking lot. The alternate bid was to mill and overlay the parking lot in place of the crack seal and slurry coat. There is $115,000 in the Buildings and Grounds Justice Center budget for the project. Public Works recommends awarding the alternate bid to McConnell and Associates in the amount of $81,575.
Anybody have any questions?
No, I agree with the alternate bid.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, it'd be a much better end product.
We have the money to do it, and it's a maintenance thing. You either do the maintenance now or you do a total rehab later.
Well, I wish I could do that in my business, you know? I wish I could do that in my business, just, with that, I'm not picking.
Well, it is a good business practice.
Well, it's good
If we let it go and let it
Yeah.
go, it's gonna cost you more in the long run.
But I wish I had the extra money that I could get to just go in and seal all of my parking lots, so.
That's.
Have we
why-
dealt with this company before?
Not at the county. I've heard of them outside of my county work.
They're a large company.
They're a large company.
They're located in North Kansas City.
Okay, the reason I ask that, you know, there's always that question is, have these people proven themselves to be, you know, worthy of, are they trying to gain an entrance? But it sounds like they're a worthy company, so I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve McConnell and Associates, alternate bid of $81,575.
Okay,
I'll second that.
any other questions?
Just that we had some locals that didn't make it within the 5%.
That's true.
Did they did they filter in the 5%?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
left
they
it there,
didn't,
yes.
They did.
we had locals, but they didn't fall within the 5%.
Okay,
Okay, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 All right, thank you.
Well, you're not gonna stay for the road talk, are you, huh?
Need me to stay?
Oh, if you could. Next item will be case number DEV 18-61, a preliminary plat for Rock Ridge Estates. And the Planning Commission voted 7-1 to recommend denial. No public hearing is required. Okay. Who's dissertating?
I will.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. This is case number DEV 18-061. This is a request for a 20-lot subdivision. This is only a preliminary plat. Our regulations require that if you have more than 8 lots, you have to submit your preliminary plat and your final plat separately. So there is not a final plat with this at this time, just the preliminary plat. The property is located at 15506 Metro Avenue, and it's approximately 80 acres. Currently, there is one single-family home on that 80-acre parcel. The property is located within the City of Basehur's urban growth management area, making this a Class B subdivision. The proposed development consists of 20 lots ranging in size from 2.5 acres to nearly 13 acres. The large 13-acre parcel would contain the current home that's on the property. The rest of the lots, aside from one of them, would be between 2.5 and 3.5 acres. Staff is unsupportive of the development as proposed due to the potential number of new single-family homes. The proposed development does not conform to the comprehensive plan for low-density residential. Additionally, staff has concerns regarding the number of new on-site wastewater systems that would be required to support this number of new homes. While the lots do meet the minimum size for septic system, the intention of the Leavenworth County zoning and subdivision regulations is not to concentrate 20 or 25 septic systems right on top of one another. The development as presented consists of 12 lots which would front on a proposed interior road. The proposed interior cul-de-sac road is nearly 1,600 feet in length, which is more than double the allowed amount of 700 feet in a Class B subdivision. This is according to Article 50 Minimum Subdivision Design Standards and General Requirements, which can be found in the zoning and subdivision regulations. Staff requested the applicant to design the road in such a manner that ingress and egress was provided in 2 locations as opposed to the single access, which results in a dead-end street. However, upon resubmittal, they did not address that concern. Staff is unsupportive of the proposed subdivision and recommends denial for the following reasons that I just went through: the number of subdivisions it does not conform, the number of lots, the number of on-site wastewater treatment facilities, the length of the cul-de-sac. Additionally, the proposed subdivision creates an additional 7 driveways on Metro Avenue, which would result in a total of 17 driveways along a half-mile stretch of road. The applicant will tell you that that is very similar to city density standards. I think we all know that this is not a city development. This is the county, which is why we have opposition to it. The Planning Commission voted 8-1 with 1 position vacant. 7-1 to recommend denial of case number 18-061 preliminary plat for Rock Ridge Estates for the following reasons. The proposed subdivision does not conform to the requirements for a Class B subdivision as required by the Leavenworth County zoning and subdivision regulations. The proposed dead-end interior road is more than 700 feet, which does not conform to the requirements of a Class B subdivision for dead-end interior roads. The applicant is here and will answer any questions you may have. Absolutely.
I'd like to ask you a question. It's pretty obvious It says the proposed development consists of 20 lots, 2.5 acres, 3 acres. But then the 13-acre one is one that bothers me. Could they, if we approve this, could they come back at a later date and split this up into 2.5-acre lots?
Potentially. They
That
could've-
would make even more homes.
Potentially, yes.
I have a question. You know, we went through several months of access management, and wasn't these the kind of developments we were kind of trying to encourage for our access managements to put in an interior road?
Even though there is an interior road, there are still lots that line up to Metro, so there are still number of lots, that line up to the county road. So it doesn't really serve the purpose of actually the interior road. It's not, all the lots are not facing just the interior road. Plus the cul-de-sac is 1,600 feet, and according to emergency management and our subdivision regulations, you cannot go beyond 700 feet due to emergency response reasons. Because you need the fire trucks to turn around, so they need to provide some kind of a provision for that. That's why we're limiting it to 700 feet. Plus, the board directed us to work on a master plan, and one of the things we're looking at is not to actually to encourage subdivisions to be closer to the cities where there are infrastructure. These type of subdivisions in the county will put a burden on the existing infrastructure. So when people move in to these subdivisions, they'll be complaining about the farming that's happening right next door to it, and we'll be hearing some complaints later.
But you're also within a minute of Timber Lakes, Walnut Ridge, Tanglewood, what's the other subdivision down there on the north side of Metro? It goes up in the hill.
Part of Timber Lake.
Yes.
It's got a separate name.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of subdivisions right there, small lot subdivision.
Yeah,
Tanglewood is on septics, and I'm not sure what the lot sizes are in Tanglewood.
There are a lot of problems with those septics
Yeah.
because of the soil conditions.
Right.
And also we have sewer districts within those subdivisions, and that's always been a problem. We're trying to avoid that situation.
Can this one hook on to?
No, sir. They tried.
Okay. Well, I just know we went through a long, long battle with access management, and this was the kind of subdivision we were encouraging to have an interior road to limit.
Do all the rest of these have one road leading in with the houses off of them? See, that's the only problem I see, is that now you got 7 lots running along. So does Tanglewood and all those, I don't know.
No, they have more than one exit. Entrance and exits,
Yeah.
yes. All right.
Okay. So it says, public hearing not required. Do you have a big desire to listen to a dissertation?
Well, and on County Road 2, we had money earmarked to do the rest of County Road 2 south of the turnpike, and then something happened. The money went somewhere else. There's plans for it, correct, Mr. Lujan?
I believe so.
The plans would be 10 years old or older?
Probably 10 to 15, yes.
Yeah. And where are we at on that? Are we ever going to pursue that?
I would like to. I mean, there's no plans right now to. There's nothing in the works to pursue that one.
Can I ask a personal question?
Yes, sir.
Does that have anything to do with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I believe it does.
okay.
If you're going to put in more houses and they're talking about more traffic on the roads and all that, I mean, if County Road 2, we did the first part of it, Miles Construction did it,
Right.
knocked it out in no time. We had plans to do the other part. The design was done, the property acquisition was done. I don't believe any utilities were relocated. I mean, if it was a need 10 to 15 years ago, I'm pretty sure it's a need right now.
I don't know, Mr. Holland, you want to do another road in the south end of the county?
No.
Well, we've put 2 schools out there since.
I sure would like one. I've had 2 people come up to me and say, how come we're not getting any roads up in our end?
Because you got an AASHTO standard 207th Street.
Yeah, whose fault was that?
Not mine.
It sure wasn't mine. I didn't want AASHTO standards.
Yeah.
I tried hard to just pave in place.
Yeah, it should have been.
Yeah.
It would have been.
You wouldn't listen to me when I was sitting out there, but now you're listening to me while I'm up here.
I'd listen to you. I didn't want AASHTO standards.
Yeah.
But our
Yeah.
Public Works Director at the time, not David, but he wanted AASHTO standards because he didn't want that road anyway.
So are we going to accept what the planning board says, or what's on your mind?
I agree.
Okay.
Go with what the planning board says.
Yeah.
Mr.
Sounds
Chairman.
like they didn't, I mean, there's a lot of,
There's a lot of things in here, just, not just what Doug's saying.
yeah.
But my concern is this 13-acre lot. If you buy the 13-acre lot, you could start putting in several more. And what's that going to do to the septic system or?
Well, we really shouldn't, you and I shouldn't worry about that. It'd be Doug and the next 2 or.
Yeah, they're going to be giving us the devil
Wow.
because we let them put it in.
Yeah, I can see it now, you know, they'll be here, the whole place will be filled with people talking about, look what you've done to our road down here. We can't even get in and out, school buses this and safety that.
Yeah.
We can't get them plowed, you know. The building close to the city is a very wise way to go for the rest of us taxpayers, not for the guy making the money. The guy making the money, he doesn't care about the rest of the taxpayers. He goes along with that other 329 million people. What's in it for me? I want something. I gotta have something. But you know, I get rather tired of paying for somebody else to make a profit. I understand that you go out there and buy 80 acres or 40 acres and 20 and divide it up, and somewhere down the line, the rest of the taxpayers are going to have to pick up the penalty. And it is a penalty. If you go into the city of Leavenworth and develop those lots that are there today, that have houses that are no good, they have sewer in there, they got everything right in there, but no, we want to go out and buy a 40 and not, fine, ought to be, yeah, you want to develop that 80? Then by gosh, you develop a road out there, you put the sidewalks in, don't come back later, like on County Road 5, and we have to pick up the sidewalks out to the Phillips development. Somewhere we're going to have to put in roads, curbs, and everything else for that addition. It becomes to me a burden on the rest of society to help, and there's nothing totally wrong with that if you don't care about who's paying the bill. So I'll entertain a motion to.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I could, in his earlier comments, Mr. Joseph referenced that the owner, developer of this tract is present. I think it might be best interest of the county in perhaps finalizing this matter if you were to afford him the opportunity, if he requests, to briefly address the board within a time constraint set by the board.
That's sort of like the Democratic thing. We were already voting. I already know I'm going to vote. How I'm going to vote. So that's a good idea, David. That's being politically correct, but I already know how I'm going to vote. But you know, I can stay here till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. But what's your?
These are facts. I mean,
Yes.
this is a fact.
That need to be improved.
These are not.
It should have been done before.
Right.
And somebody's going to convince me otherwise? I don't think so. Doug brought up some good points, but that isn't correcting the errors in here. So why do you want to listen to somebody, and they have good points, I'm sure, but it isn't going to change my mind to listen to it. They can go back to the planning board or planning council or what you want to call them and resolve the problems that they didn't correct in the first place.
Well, Commissioners, it's your decision whether or not to allow those comments.
Thank you. If you want to you want to listen to comments?
I don't see any reason for it. I mean, I will. I mean,
You want to move and I'll second, or you want me to move and you second?
I'll move.
To deny the,
I move to deny this request on planning and zoning. Let's see. Intersection, applicant is requesting 158 Metro. The property is located within the Pacers Urban Growth.
It's case number DEV
yeah, just put
18-06.
DEV
That's what I was looking for, is the case number, DEV-18-061.
Very good, I'll second that. Any discussion? How do you vote?
Nay.
How do you vote?
It'll be
Excuse me, the motion was to deny, so a
Deny.
yes
That's
vote
what I'm-
denies it, a
I
nay vote.
deny.
Yes
So
to
that would
deny.
be-
He's saying he's voting to deny.
Yes.
Nay.
I'm voting to deny, so you can put in yea or nay, okay?
I'm voting to not deny it.
Okay, that's all right.
Two
Very
to
good.
deny, two
It's-
to
So it's
deny,
Two
one.
to deny.
It's denied. Very good.
And like I said, I just think that this is what, when we worked for over a year or better on access management, this is what we were trying to achieve.
Yeah,
I agree.
but we can't, I mean,
There's more than that in the document.
yes.
Right. Oh, I understand that, but.
I mean,
We're staying-
I'm
But
not-
I don't want to, discourage people after we spend all that time on access management not to do something like this.
Well, I agree with you,
Do
but
you
there's,
not think this should have been correct in all
Well,
aspects? There you go, that's all it's about.
and locations are big, this, like I said, you're within a minute of Timber Lakes, Tanglewood,
Doesn't have
Walnut
anything-
Ridge.
Doesn't have anything to do with it.
Well, yeah, it does.
I mean, if you say you're going to move the pencil here and you're required to move the pencil there,
Mhm.
then you have to meet the requirements. And the requirements were not met. So that's simple. I would like to have seen all the requirements met.
I would have.
Fine, we vote it up and away it goes. Okay. Next item. Case number DEV 18-023. Happy Hearts, special use permit.
Yes, Commissioner, Chairman and Commissioners, this is case number DEV 18-023, special use permit for Happy Hearts Working. The applicant is requesting a special use permit for an adult care facility in order to provide services to individuals with developmental disabilities who have graduated from high school. Happy Hearts Working will operate from Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Currently, the organization employs a single employee who is the applicant. She does anticipate adding 2 additional employees within the next 5 years. Caregivers will arrive each day at 9 a.m. to drop off the individuals who will be receiving services. At that time, they'll all meet together in the building that's at the back of the property. They'll do a daily briefing on what they're going to do. They'll pack their lunches. They might do a news briefing. And then the applicant will load all of the individuals up into a vehicle and take them into the community where they will go to their jobs, their volunteer activities. They may go grocery shopping or do some fun things throughout the day. She will bring them back to the property later in the afternoon around 1 or 2 o'clock, where they'll finish up the day. They might do an arts and craft project or watch a video or something like that while they wait for their caregivers to come pick them up. The applicant is currently working with the Kansas Department for Aging and Disability Services to become a licensed community service provider. She has submitted an emergency plan and has a policy in place for inclement weather. The applicant has requested a small sign for the front of her property, and she's already submitted her sign permit and such. She's essentially done absolutely everything that we have asked her to do. It is worth noting that primarily the services will not be provided on site. It's more of a gathering place and then going and then coming back for convenience. The Planning Commission did vote 8-0 with 1 position vacant to recommend approval of this case. They did want to make sure that you all were aware that they would like for you to consider waiving the TIF fee because this is a nonprofit that's providing services to individuals with.
And what is the fee?
The TIF fee is
$500.
$589.29. The applicant is here and will answer any questions that you may have, as will we. Thank you.
Robert,
And there is a resolution, excuse me.
do you have any questions?
You say this is a nonprofit? Do they have nonprofit status?
I'll allow Mrs. Farnsworth to answer those questions, but yes, it's my understanding.
Your understanding. I'd like to hear from the lady. If that's all right with you.
That's quite all right.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for hearing my case. Yes, we have our 501c3
Okay,
nonprofit status,
okay.
and it would be so much appreciated for your consideration to waive that fee, as the startup expenses have been very interesting so far. And as Mrs. Voth did share with you, it is recommended that if our associates in our program are mobile and if they're able and if they're interested in employment, the state is promoting direct community involvement with our individuals. So we will be out in the community most of the day.
Any more questions, Bob?
No.
Do you have any?
No, sir, I think it's great.
The only question I have, haven't we denied, I don't believe we denied before, of course, this is a nonprofit.
Nonprofit.
But excuse me, there is no such thing as nonprofit. Now, that's a government definition. There is no such thing as nonprofit. Somebody's getting a salary, somebody's making money. So nonprofit is, to me, not something I look at. I know a guy that's got a business, and his business is a nonprofit. So, but he doesn't get any tax breaks. So that's the only thing I have, would be waiving the fee, but it takes two to tango. So,
You ready for a motion?
There is a requirement for a public hearing
A
on
little
this.
clarification, when you said there's no nonprofit.
No.
I mean,
that's a government definition. There are no nonprofits.
you mean because they're
They're making money and they pay salaries. And there's no restriction on what they can pay on salaries.
So the more money they make, the more they could pay themselves? Is that what you're saying?
That's true. Now you look at, and I won't mention her name, she's a well-known lady at one time.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she got a heck of a salary, but that's nonprofit. Probably in the next year, she got another increase. Who knows? I don't know. I didn't investigate it, but that hasn't anything to do with the vote. I'm just against waiving the fee. Part of life.
Is this a part of the public hearing, or are we in the public hearing?
Yeah, we got into it.
Okay, we got into the public hearing.
Yeah.
All right.
Didn't matter how we got into it, the
So,
lady wanted to give a presentation, so.
I disagree on your, this, on the nonprofit. I mean, because I don't have a problem with waiving the TIF fee for something like this.
Well, that's,
I think this is a very needed business, if we want to call it a business.
well, we can't call it a business. It has to be a nonprofit.
Okay, this is a very needed service for a nonprofit in our
Yep.
county.
Yep. Didn't say it wasn't. But,
Well-
we have,
I don't see people lining up to do this kind of a service.
I guess what I'd like to ask next is this going to impact you if you have to pay for the TIF fee?
Yes, because we established the 501c3 as an avenue for contributors to make a charitable contribution, because we've used personal funds to establish a bank account, get attorney fees paid, just the initial startup expenses to make sure that we're a solvent organization, so that then we can approach the state for the purpose of that is to hopefully obtain some funding through the Medicaid department for our individuals who are active in the Medicaid system. Some of our individuals will not be, and a lot of these individuals and their families don't have the financial resources to pay for an adult day service such as this to get safe, healthy supervision throughout the day, and then also continue to help prepare them for being active in life and productive in life. And so besides our initial startup fees and attorney fees, our accounting fees, we've paid out of pocket for, say, a program that can reach each of our associates at their level of understanding to help them understand, how to read a sign in the store for for like a healthy item to eat, or, computer skills, stuff like that. So that's what the purpose of the 501c3, just to help get support for our programs from the ground up, so that we can continue to grow and offer these services. And I've worked closely with Riverside Resources here with Janice Denny, and we have people waiting for me to receive my license from the state, because there's so many in need of this service, especially we're in southern Leavenworth County, and besides Riverside Resources, there's no other day service provider for adults with intellectual or developmental disabilities. So,
who all did you had accountants, you had lawyers, and I'm sure they said, well, you're a 501. Instead of charging you $250 an hour, I'm going to charge you $100 an hour. That's the way lawyers operate, and that's the way accountants. No, they don't do that. They charge you a fee, and it'd be very nice for those people, then they could probably write that off. Who knows? But it's interesting how government is asked to do stuff, and it's not that I'm against the operation, because I appreciate that. It's just you waive it for one, the next thing you know, we got somebody else that wants to be waived, and it affects everybody in the county. It is another tax of some sort. If we waive your $500, somebody else is going to have to pay for it, who maybe doesn't want to pay for it. So you do your motion, and we'll go from there. Unless there's somebody else wants to talk on this subject, my vote is to approve it and not waive the fee. Does that make me harsh and bad, and I should be out here tarred and feathered? Yeah, somebody will suggest that, but that's all right. I don't, somewhere you got to pay your way. Nice program. So,
Mr. Chairman, I don't think you're looking at the big picture here. These are adult disability.
There isn't some big businessman out there that will pay the $500?
But say this didn't exist. What's the alternative?
I'm looking at the big picture. Been looking at it for 80 years.
If say this facility didn't exist in the southern part of the county, these folks are going to be taken care of somehow, some way. And there'll be dollars involved.
And they'll get through the $500 non-waiving. Somehow they'll get through it. And I just think it's not a policy that and you only got 3 months and 6 days left, so don't worry about it. I just think it is a policy that doesn't need to be established for all 501s, 3Cs, 4Cs, 5Cs, or whatever, how many Cs we got.
I don't know how many have come before this board.
Well, that's where you stop it. We have permits that people ask for, and it's $100 for this, or the parade and the biking throughout the county.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we waived that.
yeah, but I didn't waive it.
I know,
Yeah.
but we
So-
had waived it in the past.
So, does anybody else want to talk on this subject? I'll close the public session that I didn't open, but that's all right. That's insignificant to see.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. So, you want to do a motion?
I will.
Okay.
I move that we approve case number DEV.
It'd just be approved resolution 2018-20, I believe. at this point.
And we don't have that sheet of paper for that.
29.
But the resolution refers to the case. You don't have to have two
Right.
motions. Just
20.
approve the resolution approves the case.
What was the resolution last number?
It's 2018-20.
2018-21?
20.
-20.
All right, I'll move that we approve resolution 2018-20 and waive the traffic impact fee.
Second to that?
I'll second to that. I do understand that, yes, we need to stop some of this, but in this instant, I think that this is something that I think even the government can take care of. Maybe it's not right for all the people in the county, but there's a lot of people in the county that depend on organizations like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, I'll vote to waive the fee.
Okay. How do you vote?
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Very good. There. You got your,
Thank you, Commissioners. I'll need to update the resolution. Becky, I will send that to you.
okay. Next is and she's leaving with a happy heart. See that? Oh, that's the name of the organization. Case number DEV 18-073, a special use permit for the Yager Kennels. Planning Commission voted 8-0, position vacant, 1 position vacant. Does that mean we're going to have 9?
Can't seem to find nobody to fill the
Yeah,
vacant.
we filled the position for this month, so
Okay, so 8-0 and 1 position vacant.
correct.
The 8, was that the vacancy out of the 8?
No, the vacancy is out of the 9.
Out of the 9, there we go. Got it down. To recommend approval.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners.
Ooh,
This
yeah.
is case number DEV 18073, an application for a renewal for a special use permit for a kennel, Yager Kennels. The special use permit was previously approved by the Board of County Commissioners on January 3rd, 2013. There are no changes to this business. The Planning Commission voted 8-0 with 1 position vacant to recommend approval of the renewal of this permit. Mr. Yager owns 10 breeder dogs. The applicant is licensed through the state of Kansas as a hobby breeder. Puppies are sold over the internet or with Yager's Little Bullies Kennel. There are no retail transactions on the premises. There are up to 3 litters of puppies at the same time. Puppies are kept inside the residence, on the property, or in an outdoor kennel. Additionally, the applicant offers puppy nanny services to dogs from Yager's Little Bullies Kennel. The business does not exceed 10 litters per year, including puppy nanny services. The applicant maintains a grass buffer strip at the edge of the outdoor kennel to treat all animal waste runoff. All waste material collected is disposed of by a licensed trash hauler. Staff recommends approval of case number DEV 18073, special use permit for Yager Kennels, subject to conditions. The applicant is present to answer any questions you may have, as are we.
Okay, can we do this in a, oh, did anybody have any questions, staff? But I did want to get into the proper sequence of opening.
No, I don't have any.
You got any questions?
No, sir.
Then we will open this to the public. Anybody wants to vote? Let's go with in favor of the kennels. Come forward. And since I'll give a recommendation, I'm already voting for it, so you don't really have to come up and talk in favor of it. But if anybody, or is there anybody negative on it? Pro or negative?
How does that affect the person? I remember earlier this year, we had the lady that lived out south that had the 6 dogs, and her neighbors were complaining about that. And we said, well, there's a limit on how many dogs you can. That's the only thing I'm wondering is, how does that vary from that?
Does everybody see where that voice is coming from?
Oh. No, I'm Glenberry, District 1. That was my only concern was, how does that affect the lady that was here earlier this year that had the 6 dogs? You guys remember that? Because she was in a neighborhood and her neighbors complained about her 6 dogs, and we said, well, there is a limit of how many dogs you can have in the county, and the normal person, you probably, if she'd have been a good neighbor or whatever, might not have had that issue, but I don't know how does this affect somebody that wants to operate a kennel?
Well, I guess that's a good question.
Because they're saying she's gonna have 10 dogs, and I know Yoggers and I like them and everything. I'm just wondering, how does that affect, if they have 10 dogs, that's fine. How do we go back to that lady and tell her she was only allowed to have 4?
This one's licensed by the state.
Well, it's also, they're asking for a special use permit, which would be if you wanted, you yourself.
If I wanted to have more than 4 dogs, I get a
you could
special
do
use permit to have
Same
them.
exact process.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, that's all I was wondering.
Yes,
This
very
has
good.
got a kennel license from the state of Kansas.
Well, that's scary when you get
Like a
something.
business, so it's a business.
It's a business.
Yes.
Okay.
You're correct.
Okay, that's all.
Were there any people at the planning and zoning that had a?
No, sir, there were
Yeah,
no
see,
concerns.
and that's another avenue, Glenn, that there was nobody at the meetings to object, so,
I would say that no neighbors objected to it.
Yep.
That's would be my biggest concern, if we have neighbors that objected to it.
so why don't we just vote it down as, for the heck of it, you want to? Does somebody want to do a motion?
I'll
We'll
make a
close the
motion
open.
to
Thank you
approve.
very much. Any other discussion?
No.
You,
I make a motion to approve DEV-18-073 special use permit for a kennel for Yager Kennels.
It would just be to approve resolution 2018-21,
Okay.
if you would.
that's in
I'll
the north
second it.
end, so I
Yeah.
don't know if you want to second it. Why don't I second it? Since
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Since
You
I
go
used
ahead
to
and
live
second
up
it.
there.
Yeah, you did. And
Yeah.
I talked to one of your old buddies Saturday.
I'm sorry about that.
I had a lot of good things to say about you.
You should have denied it. I really have to recluse myself. I've known the family for years, but I knew the more mature family, so.
Okay.
So you're gonna
So are you seconding it or am I?
I'm gonna second it.
Okay.
How you vote?
Aye.
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 So,
No, I visited with Mr. Sass Saturday.
oh, Eddie? Okay, now we're down to the last part of the meeting where I have some things that I would like to, after everybody else is done.
Okay.
So do you have anything?
Just I'll be at Linwood City Council meeting tonight, and I'm going to Baser's work session tomorrow. And don't forget, President Trump will be in Topeka on Saturday.
Yes, he will be. That wasn't a political announcement, that was just an announcement.
That's just an announcement.
Very good.
Wasn't paid for by anybody.
Bob, do you have anything? Okay. You know, I've been meaning to bring this up. I've been holding off on this, Bob. You and Clyde should be ashamed of yourselves for what you guys have done.
Okay.
I went to a golf tournament yesterday. My game was totally ruined by bulldozers, grater blades. I could not concentrate on the game of golf for all that was taking place down there at Falcon Lakes. House was being built, ungodly. I mean, it was massive, and I had to come home all the way on paved roads, and it really upset me.
Okay. Well, we can gravel them for you if you want.
No, I'm really giving you a compliment.
Oh, okay.
What has taken place?
Oh, I thought you were just covering up for your bad golf game.
I thought he was covering up for his golf game myself.
And it needed some covering up. Yeah, I'm stuck with a Republican and a Democrat. Have we eliminated Eisenhower from being a part of requesting of MARC? M-A-R-C, none.
Well, currently, the time frame proposed for the construction of Eisenhower would probably eliminate it from the next round of grant applications, because I think
If we don't go through with that time frame.
You would have to delay Eisenhower to probably at least 2020 to be eligible for any future grant funding.
Right.
Yes, that's true.
Mr. Chairman, that kind of plays into, I think, Baser's work session tomorrow on some projects and things that's going to be the needs of Baser, and I think we'll be discussing, Vernon will be discussing the things that'll should be eligible for some MARC funding.
Well, if we could put the stipulation on Eisenhower at 50-50 to see if MARC has the capability of producing for Leavenworth County, because we were totally at error. It was totally our fault that we received, what, 850,000, and that was going to go
975.
Well,
And it was going to cost us $1.5 million to take that money.
Yeah, I hated to point that out at the time,
But I don't like it that it is our fault,
well, I don't like it
and I don't
either.
think it was totally our fault. Now, we don't want to get into a lot of parameters here, but I see nothing wrong with delaying this road. Now, City of Leavenworth, they're already repairing the road, or fixing to put in a new road, not the whole road, but from the hill on where Riley's putting in his...
On 20th Street?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I was traveling down 20th Street Saturday, and big semi I met coming from your direction.
Coming from the north?
Coming from the north.
Okay.
And, I mean, it was a big semi.
Well, that's illegal.
I just thought I'd tell you.
Can't do that. It says no trucks allowed, no big trucks. So I think this is something worth looking at. Even with the houses that Riley's going to put in there, I don't think it's going to delay the project that much. I'm not concerned. I'm concerned about the interest. If it's going to cost us 14 million, 13 million, we haven't gone out for bids yet. There's going to be another 3, 4, 5 million added on to that for interest. And nobody cares about interest, see? When you're in business, you care about interest.
You're right there.
If you're a government, you don't care about interest at all because it's taxpayers' money, so let's just spend the money, go out and borrow it.
When is the next round? 2020?
2019.
I think the next the next
2020 is where it's going to be.
That's when it's awarded.
No, that's when you can apply.
The next call for projects will be 2020.
2020.
With 2021, 2022 money.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's even better.
Then we would have our money in cash to spend, probably. But no, let's go in debt. So I'm just saying, I think it's worthwhile, and I know you're going to have the moaners and the groaners come in and say, hello, Doug, this is JoJo. And I really don't agree with that. Hi, Bob, this is JoJo. There won't be anybody call me because they know that I have to pay bills in my business, and I gotta, if I don't have the money, I gotta go borrow it, and I pay the bill. So I think it's something worth looking at, not to have, I think, I may, I assume, to have somebody sit down in the next couple weeks and say, hey, this is what we came up with, rather than, and at the same time, we're testing somebody we're paying, what, 19,000? Surely that isn't 19,000 a month for, is it? That,
You're referring to the 911
Yeah.
fees. I think that there is a monthly fee that goes along with that.
Paid it for years.
I know it. Everybody's getting that.
Mhm.
But we're not getting any of the Oconee Jodi, which means money. We're not getting any of that because we submitted a plan for $65,000 for sidewalks in Basser.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been 6.5 million, and then maybe somebody would have looked at it. And maybe we have a
Well-
professional staff now that will follow through with the proper direction, and we would have it done way in advance because they said they were going to help us. But
And it also,
I agree.
But it's going to take Leavenworth, Lansing, and Leavenworth County all applying for this together, isn't it?
That's what he basically said. It's
If
gotta
we
be-
could all get together on this.
And if they don't, Louis' plan would be to hold off, and we could pay for it cash.
Well,
look
we've
how
got-
long it's going to take just to get the lights done on 147th.
Get the
We haven't even
lights
started
done.
the
The
signal lights
lights.
by Lansing.
Oh, okay. All
Okay.
right. I drove 147th Street yesterday, but the new project.
You should have come down 155th, much better. But,
I did.
did you?
I did both.
That's
I
good.
would ran my roads yesterday.
That's good. And I was on some roads that were closed, and I felt bad about
I
that.
did too.
But the point is, Lansing hasn't gone out for bids yet. When are they gonna get the lights done?
Is that, were they applying for KDOT funds for that?
Haven't got the slightest idea.
There's KDOT funds.
Yeah, there's KDOT funds for that, so they're probably on the state's time frame.
Yeah. So that isn't slowing down 20th and Ice. So I'm looking at it, and then all they've done then is the lights. They haven't done the first section of 147th. And then they haven't done the second section of 100, I think they have two. So I just think it's worthwhile to have staff sit down and look at the project and say, yeah, there's some avenues to this, no, and then staff will get all the calls from those people who want it done today.
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Well, and I think a lot of this, what tomorrow's work session is going to be, and I'm going to meet with Mr. Fields before the work session and go over some stuff.
Yeah.
That Basser may apply, you know. They've got a lot of problems coming down the pike.
Well-
With 155th Street, wasn't parallel, what they say, they had a study done, it was going to be like a 5-minute wait in 3 years or something, sitting at that intersection with the traffic. You know, and I'm sure that's peak times and school's out or something. But
So we've done 147th for them. We've done McIntyre. We've given 5 million there, 5 million there. You know, it's sort of like an auction. You know, got 5 million bid. Who would give me 10?
Mhm.
What you're saying is their request might be more important than our request.
no, I'm just saying it might be, you gotta weigh your options. Is Mark gonna throw all their money on one road, or are they gonna maybe do several little projects for the county?
I don't know. I'd just like to see them throw some
Or
money.
do something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you can apply for it. You
Right.
can apply for it. We want a 50-50.
Mhm.
And they come back and they say, well, we're only going to give you $65,000, because that's what we thought about giving Baser, and we're not gonna give Baser any. I don't know what the thought process would be, but it'd be nice to find out, because we participate, Mark, and I see where we get nothing from participating. So and by then, we've got the cash, we pay cash, and it's over with. And we do way more roads
Yeah,
by having paid cash.
but we also we have to get cooperation with the other entities
Well, if they don't cooperate,
to apply for
Yeah.
a joint fund like that. And that's any city. I'm not saying just Leavenworth, Lansing. It's going to be Baser in the county. It's going to
Yeah.
be Tonganoxie in the county, or
And that'd be
whoever, Linwood in the county.
that'd be a good measurement to see how much more money we should give them when they're needing money.
Yeah.
So, does anybody have a problem with staff looking into that?
I don't.
Okay, okay. Do staff understand that?
Yes.
Okay, so that was a compliment, Bob, about the roads,
Okay.
yeah. And I
I thought you were getting ready to hang me out to dry.
You got a note from a lady, I won't mention her name unless you want it mentioned, about Mark is scheduled to make a presentation to the commission later this month.
Yeah, I got the letter.
Could you tell me if Leavenworth is a member of Mark?
I believe all the cities in the county, the 4 larger cities of the county are members in the.
Okay, so you answered her question, because,
Yeah.
you know, if we are not, and I imagine they're talking about the city of Leavenworth.
I think the confusion that she was having is that she was considering, they're applying for grants through private organizations, and those
Yes.
organizations are telling her that Leavenworth, the city, are not a part of the metro area that they consider eligible for their grants. That those grants do not run through Mid-America Regional Council.
Yes, okay.
Mid-America Regional Council recognizes that the cities in Leavenworth is
Were
eligible.
you able to get back to her on
Yeah,
that?
I told her if she had any additional questions, that Mid-America Regional Council
Very
would be
good.
the,
That was Mark funds.
yes.
Let's go back to voting by mail. This was April the 9th, 1993. And I love going through my file cabinets, getting rid of this junk.
Had to be. You can see it's done on a typewriter.
You had to say that. Douglas, I'm ashamed of you.
It was electric typewriter. It wasn't manual.
This is to certify the votes of the general election, where shall the city of Leavenworth abandon its organization of commission manager form of government. Okay, I won't read the rest about that. It was no, and the population hasn't changed that much in Leavenworth. It was no, 2,740, yes, 1,708. I would love to know what the total voters were,
It's a registered voter.
registered voters, that amount of time. I would like a presentation by the clerk of what problems she has and what problems, because what I'm getting out of it, it's a very easy process to you get the ballot and you mark the ballot, put it in, put a stamp on, you send it in. If you don't take care of it, it's like not taking care of your bills. I would like staff to look into the pros and cons where we submit to the state through our legislators to have the opportunity. Then it comes down to the commission at the time, which would be, you know, probably the year 2050, or who knows when it would be, to allow us or other counties to vote by mail. Does anybody have a problem with staff looking at that?
No, I'd also like to look at Saturday voting.
Well,
I'm for getting as many people out to vote as you can.
Well, you want 2 days?
No, I don't think 2 days would be necessary, but I think a Saturday election would be
The problem
more
is,
accommodating to people.
I deal with a lot of these people that are 24/7, or one kid that's playing soccer, one
That's
kid that's
right.
playing volleyball, and they do not have time, especially on Saturday. They don't have time.
Well, they sure don't have time on Tuesday in
But
November.
if it comes in the
when it's-
mail, then it's your responsibility. So,
Well, how
throw
many,
that in.
How many parents, procrastinate, don't vote until Tuesday, and they got kids at school, they got stuff at school at night, and by the time they get home,
well, that's their problem.
it is.
We've
but I'm just-
eliminated that by going to the state, asking them. A lot of people nobody showing up to vote. A lot of people like that, because then they can push their people to get out there and vote. So if that's a consensus, to have staff look at that.
Yeah, we
I wouldn't
need a
wanna-
larger percentage of turnout.
Oh, it'd be much greater.
Well, we need to do whatever we can do.
Now, I guess that was the only thing I had on the roads. Excuse me, I didn't mean to. I thought it was interesting, and I really didn't pass this out the other day for the 5 commissioners, but we have actually, the county has taken a pay cut. Commissioners, back. Yeah,
I know,
they took a pay cut.
yeah,
Right,
to get a county administrator.
right.
They have sold their program on, we're going to take the salaries and divide it by 5, and I don't like that aspect. If they hadn't even thrown that in there, I would not have a problem. But these are the most recent. Butler gets, and they have 66,000 people, they get 30,000, we're getting 40. Douglas gets, and they have 118,000, they get 35,000. Butler has 5 county commissioners. Leavenworth gets 40,995, and we have 79,000. Riley has 75,000 less than us, and they still have 3 commissioners, but they get $43,750. Mileage. Thought this was interesting. This is Clay County. The chief, the head of the county presiding commissioner, he gets $77,389. Their other commissioners get $75,289. It's amazing. See, money enters my mind, but I just threw away salaries for Leavenworth County, Leavenworth City, Lansing City, and just threw away a massive amount of what they were getting in 2003. It never entered in my mind to be worried about whether we're getting 40 or whether we're getting, and we're going to divide the 40, because we vote in that salary for next year, the 3 of us. That theoretically stays. Anybody that comes on later can say, no, I'm only going to take 25,000 because that's what it would have been. I'm going to volunteer to do that. And then they're going to find out how much work it is. I noticed it. So we've already.
Donate their salary to an organization or something.
Say again?
They can donate their salary to an organization.
They can donate it to Happy Hearts.
Yeah.
I think we had a commissioner that took very little, I think maybe $1, one that, there was a commissioner before me.
And he's not with us anymore.
Right.
Well, he starved to death.
Uh,
Tonganoxie. This is an interesting one. Home Builders Association permit statistics. I wonder what can you figure that one, kind of bring back what their building permits were? Because it looks like the only ones right now are baser, significant ones.
Last night was a council meeting, but
Yeah,
I went to the town hall, so.
but the significant ones look like it's now Baser and Leavenworth. They haven't picked up in Lansing too much.
It looks like there's a lot of new homes being built in Tallanoxie.
Well, I know there's 12 being built out on 20th Street. So, yeah, it's just sort of curiosity. They also did a design build, City of Tonganoxie and J.E. Dunn. You know what-
Library.
Library. Okay, that's very good. Last thing on my agenda here, other than, Bob, I'm proud of you. You finally gotten your law firm involved with the lawsuit, you know, and they're finally getting some money. I think that's great. Lansing had this, the DeSoto Road project. But this is from April the 17th, 2001. Almost half of the Missouri state, this is Missouri, and I shouldn't talk about that in Kansas, agencies, boards, and commissions failed to provide public records requested in this. They did a sting by the state auditor. An audit to be released found that 44% of Missouri's governmental bodies skirted the state's sunshine law. And there's some logic to that. Executive sessions. To me, a lot of them are a farce. This was done in 2017, or 2001, April 17th. And that was when I was looking into what the school districts, because it had some real heavy talk about school districts. A similar audit was done in 1999, found that 47.6% of the school districts, cities, counties, and other governmental bodies failed to comply with the law. Now, this is a young, vivacious young lady. And the auditor in those days was Claire. Anybody else got anything, or and we'll get out of this meeting?
No, sir.
Anything, Bob?
No.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
How you vote?
Aye.
Aye.